This program is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund, with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008, and by the members of Prairie Public.
Saw the wizard smile from behind his dreads, and this time all that he said, it's so much bigger than that, so much deeper than that. Recognize love is strength, mighty woman, recognize love is strength. So grow your hair, grow your soul, go start working, go start working, go start working, go start working, go start working.
In 1999, I started building an A-frame cabin, and me and my two older kids lived in it. They were like 4 and 6 at the time. I just wanted to see what we could do without, not like make my kids suffer through hardship, but I wanted to see, if I could live without electricity, and without a telephone, and without, a radio or a TV or a refrigerator and all those things that we think we need. And The Heron Smiled is about that. It's about trading. You can't fly when you're weighed down by so much. But the time we spent there in that A-frame was really, really good for me, good for my kids. I wrote a whole bunch of songs while I lived there. And it was true, when you don't have electricity, you don't have television on, you go to sleep with the sun and you get up with the sun. And it's a really great rhythm and a great way to live. And my kids just played all day. They played in the woods, and we hauled water, and I heat water, give them baths in a galvanized tub, and they'd wash their own socks, and it was just really, really simple. And we live in a regular house now, and we try not to consume too much energy, but it's kind of hard not to today. And so this song was written during that experience in my life, and I think everybody should try it once.
There came knocking at my door, but I was not at home. There stared into my eyes, found herself alone, and she cried, "Why refuse the gift I carry on my wings?" And I cried, "I am rich in pride and pain and foolish, fearful things." There came knocking at my door, inviting me to dance. There peered into my heart and offered one more chance. And she cried, "Why refuse the gift I carry on my wings?" And I cried, "I am rich in pride and pain and foolish, fearful things." There it glided from my door, left me sad and hollow. The silent heron disappeared, and I began to follow. And she cried, "Why refuse the gift I carry on my wings?" And I cried, "Hearts that yearn to touch the sky must trade the world for wings." And she smiled, and she smiled, and she smiled, and she smiled.
Well, Falling Down and Falling Apart was written by two men, Jim Boyd and Sherman Alexie. And it speaks to me because I can relate to the women in the song, the women who I see at, usually the women I see at powwows who have children, and the children have beautiful beadwork on, and they have their camp all set up, and it takes a lot to get to that place. And so when I see these women with their kids, and they're their aunties and their mothers and their grandmothers, and they're me and they're my sisters, and I sing in honor of any woman who has an understanding of what the song is about. And even though it was written by two Indian men, it to me, it's not a song that is like knocking men or, bashing men. It's just a song that really lifts up the women and honors them in a really powerful way.
I know a woman, Indian in her bones, spends the powwow dancing all alone. She can be lonely, and sometimes she can cry and drop her sadness into the bread she fries. I know a woman, Indian in her eyes, full blood in her heart, full blood when she cries. She can be afraid, sometimes she can shake, but her medicine will never let her break. She don't want a warrior, and she don't want no brave. She don't want a renegade headed for an early grave. She don't need no stolen horse, she don't need no stolen heart. She don't need an Indian man falling down and falling apart. I know a woman, Indian in her hands, wanting him to sing, wanting him to dance. When she's out there waiting, no matter the weather, he'd walk through lightning just to give her a feather. But she don't want a warrior, and she don't want no brave. She don't want a renegade headed for an early grave. She don't need no stolen horse, she don't need no stolen heart. She don't need any man falling down and falling apart.
Beautiful Sun I wrote shortly after my nephew was killed. And near that same time period, a very good friend named David Swenson, who is actually the owner of Makoche Recording Company in Bismarck, a really good friend. His son passed away. And I spoke to him, and he told me that the only way that he could, you know, get a grip on what had happened was that if he thought, what if somebody had brought him his son when he was born, brand new born baby, and they told David, you can have this little baby and you can take care of him and raise him and teach him everything you need to teach him about life and keep him, but you can't have him forever. When he turns whatever age he passed away, we would take him. And that really helped me a lot, thinking about my sister and her son. And I actually told it to her, hoping it would help her out too. And it did. So I thought, well, it was a good thing to write, because I know that it's a horrible thing, but I know that a lot of parents outlive their children. And to me, it's unthinkable. I don't know how, how a person gets through that. I don't think there's a greater pain than that.
Would you want him anyway? Even if you knew he couldn't stay, this beautiful one, this beautiful son, called away, taken away so young.
This program is funded by the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund, with money from the vote of the people of Minnesota on November 4th, 2008. And by the members of Prairie Public.